So we're gonna start it right now. We're going to rewrite our 3 tiny projects into the ES6. So we're gonna firstly grab the code or we already have for the 3 projects and just change it a little bit, right? So we're gonna start with the filterable list. Let's go to the GitHub to grab the code we have there. I already deleted it from this computer, so I'm gonna grab it from GitHub. If you already have that in your computer, you can just using the code you have in your computer. Alright, so we're gonna go to GitHub. In your repositories, you can search for the filterable list. Filterable list. Or what I'm not sure what name you call it, but just some name similar to this one. And we are going to clone it. So we're gonna copy the URL path and do git clone. Git on desktop. Open a git bash on desktop, and we're going to do a git clone and paste the URL in. Right, that is a filterable list. So let me open it.
Yeah, why are we cloning it if we already have it on our desktop?
You do not have to clone it if you already have it. I just said it. Right, open this one. Open the folder in the VS Code. Right, so this is a project we have, and it should have index.html and a main.js and a style CSS. Right, we're gonna rewrite this code a little bit in the JavaScript. We're not gonna touch the index.html or the CSS. I think let's open this one in the browser. Make sure it's still working. It's so slow because I just restarted my computer. Give it some time. It's activating the add-ons. All right, here we go. So that is my contact. So yeah, still work. All right, we're gonna rewrite this one in the ES6. Let's see what we can change in the main.js. All right, is that? So this is what we have. All right. So we only have like 25 lines of code, so it should be very short to change. So we're gonna firstly get rid of all the variables. We're gonna change that into constant and let. So the first one, that one gonna get the user input field. Right, this is get user input, and see that's how helpful to have a comment. I don't even need to read the code. I know this is what it does. So I just can change this one to the constant, because this one always going to point to the user input field. I do not need to change that anymore. So I'm gonna use a constant for this. All right. And the filter, the element listener, we do not need to change this. And whenever there is a key up, we're going to call the function filter names. And for the filter names function, we're going to change this function into the arrow function. So get rid of the keyword function and adding an arrow here. That's not making big changes, but we're going to keep going. So the value is going to be filter's value. It's going to always be equal to the filter's value, so it's just going to be a constant. We do not need a let for it. It's going to increase the security part of it. I'm not sure. I think it's have some problem of it. Let me see. I delete that and any arrow key to it. Why it is not happy about it? Oh, I see. I need to say a constant. This is equals to a function that takes parameter, right? We need to change that to function expression first. So the whole process is going to be, firstly, this is a function we'll use the have. I'm gonna change this one to say constant. Change that one into a function expression. So it's gonna be constant. Filter names is equals to a function. Does this? Right? This is a function expression. We load like in the very beginning when we load a function in the JavaScript. And then we change this one into the arrow function. So it's going to be the parentheses and with arrow keys. So this is arrow function. All right. This one going to be a constant because this value will never be changed. It's going to always point to filter.value. We won't re-change the constant of it. And this names is always going to be current select all the A tags in the list item. So it's also going to be constant. I'm gonna write those two things. All right, and then we have a loop over names using the for loop. We're gonna change this one into for off loops, which is gonna make things easier. We can firstly change this one into a for in loop, because by changing to for in loop, we can still using the I in here. We do not have to change too much. So we're gonna say for I in names. That's it. So just change for loop into a for in loops. So previously we have for variable I equals to 0, I smaller than names the length I plus plus. Here we can just say for let I in names for all the index inside names. And we're gonna do those things. Blah blah blah. And I think it's still gonna work. Let's checking if our code is still working. We're getting an error. Filter names is not defined in line 5. The reason for that is because we are using the function expression. It's not have the hoisting. It's not going to move that to the top. So we can put this one below it, I believe. Right? It's not giving any error. So we're not defining the function, so it doesn't do a hoisting for us. So we're going to move the and even listener after the function itself. Right? Change the order of them. So not done have any error in the console, and oh, it's not working. Cannot read property to uppercase of undefined line 13. Names I in the text to uppercase. What's wrong with this guy? That I in names. Let me try to console. Let's try something here. So firstly, let's try to console the log, the value, and the names. Make sure these are things we get from it. So that's one we type, and the list we got. Yeah, we got everything we need. Those two are the correct. And I also want to console log this I here. Make sure the I is correct. Console log the I here. Yeah, it's from 0 to 12, and we got the length. What? Why do I got a length here? What is this length from? Line 11. All right. So names I in the text. Let's try to console the log names I. Am I getting all the names from it? I get all of them, including the crossing. Yeah, seems like it works, but it still give me an error. Well, it works, but still give me an error. What is this error come from? Well, my code is still working, but just there's an error always showing. I think there's something wrong with the for in loop. Don't worry about that. We're going to change that to for off loop anyway. So right now we have for in loop. We just change that one into that I in names. Right? This is what we changed, and we're going to change that into off loop. So off loop, we're not going to worry anything about the index. We just directly grab the item inside it. So we're going to say for all name of names. So every name inside this names array, and I'm going to do instead of names I, we're going to just say name. All the names I are going to change to be just name. Right? Names I basically just means the name, and right now we're just using the shorter way to write it. So getting the name, each name, want to get in the inner HTML inner text, and then change it to uppercase, and compare it with our input name. And if the name contains what we type, it's going to show it. Otherwise, hide it. I think this won't give me any error. Yeah, here we go. Doesn't have any error, and it works. Right, it works. Right, so this
instead of I. Do that. And take out the I.
Right, if we want to keep changing this guy, we can do something more. But we can change this one to the turn away operator, but we do not have to. But if you want, you can. But this is already good enough with the ES6 syntax. We have the for off loop, we have a constant, and we have the arrow function. And you can also use an underscore here, but you do not have to. It's not very common. And yeah, I think that's it. And even if you want to even shorter, you can just grab this whole function and directly put it inside here instead of calling the function name. That's what you can do, but I do not suggest that. It's gonna make the code not easy to read. This version is good enough. Just keep it like that. So I have the for off loop, I have a constant. We do not need to create any class in this case, and we have the we only have one let, which is this name, because name gonna change every time when we do the loop. And for the values, names, and filters, it never changes. Yep. So that's good enough. We're gonna send this back to the GitHub. So open the terminal here. Git add dot git commit -m change into ES6 and git push. Right, that's it for the filterable list. So it's very easy. Just few lines of change, and we just make the code cleaner a little bit. Right, we do not have to worry about the for loop. We just change the variable into constant to make sure no one will be able to change it. Right, if you try to change it, it's going to give you an error. And let's close it, and we can take a look of the other project. So we're going to take a look about a repository here. Gonna look at unit converter, right? Unit converter. I'm gonna download that. I'm gonna go to a desktop. Git bash here. Git clone. This one gonna be longer. We'll have, I think I remember I have 2 functions inside it. I'm gonna change this one. All right, let's open this one in the Visual Code. And index.html, let's open with lab server. Make sure it's working without any error right now. Right, just trying to practice ES6. So F12, right, it's no any error. And then while I'm typing, it's going to change things into different grams, and I think it also works for some other units like gram or kilogram. Actually, it doesn't work for kilogram; just works for the gram and the pounds. That's what I did. Right, so we're gonna rewrite it in the ES6. So we do not need to touch the index.html and the CSS. Only thing we need to change is main.js. Right. So again, we're gonna change the variable into constant and let. Right, constant and let. So the first one here, the input, is curly selector select the input and the unit. Those two can be just constant because they're always going to point to those 2 fields. We never need to change it. Right, and again, since we're going to do the converter, change the converter into arrow function, we're going to move this add even listener to the end of the code, right? To the end of the code. Alright, so move that to the end of the code. Won't change anything. The code is gonna still work. And right now we're going to change this function into the arrow function. We're going to say constant convert is equals to a function, takes nothing, and returns this whole thing. I mean, not return, just run this block of code. Right, and won't change anything. It's still gonna work. And get the value of user input and units. We're going to change all of them into constant. Output, I think this one's going to be let. I think we changed it somewhere. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. I think I can use constant. I'm going to try it using constant. If constant doesn't work, we're gonna getting some error from it, and then we change it to let. So it saves using constant. Alright, so it's working. It's not giving me any error, so we can use in constant for that. If anything is wrong, we can change that to the let. Right, so this is the first few lines. This one, I think we can do it with ternary operator. This is very short. So we can say if value not equal to, let's just rewrite it here. We're gonna comment this out. We're gonna rewrite this part into ternary operator. So we're gonna say value not equal to empty, and then outer put the style display equal to block, else is display equal to none. Right, this is the ternary operator. Right, so if this equals to not equal to true, we'll do that. Otherwise, we'll do else or do another thing. Right, so it's still gonna work. Just a shorter way to that than the if cases. I can delete this one right now. Right, just shorter way for the if cases. And for the switch cases, I can leave it like that. Do not have to change it. The switch cases is already clear enough. I do not need to do anything about it. And for those cards, we're going to change that to the constant. If that's not going to work, we're going to change it back to let. Let's try it. So it works. The constant actually works. Doesn't give me any error. I can do it for the grams or pounds. All works. Right? And we're going to change this function into change to the error function. I think I'm gonna move this one before this function. Maybe I need. Let's try it. I think I maybe need to move it before, because this function get caught in this one, and before without the hoister, that may be causing a problem. So we're gonna say constant convert pounds is equals to a function takes a value and does the following. And same thing for convert grams. Constant convert grams takes a value and does the following stuff. Arrow point to that. Right, let's try it. Right, it actually works. I do not need to worry about that. It actually works. It actually works. So I don't need to move that. And because there's only one parameter for those two functions, so I can get rid of the parentheses here.
What about the curly braces? They gotta stay?
Yes, because we do not have return here. If this is returning something, we can get rid of it. But right now we're not returning something. We're trying to doing some query selector and change the content inside it. So we cannot get rid of it. Right, that's it. So the old way still work, and the new way just make the code shorter. Not too shorter, but too short, but just a little bit better, I believe, because that's why they invent the new ways. And also the constant is more secure than the old way. Yeah, that's a variable. Because right now you cannot change it. Somehow maybe your company hiring an intern and they mistakenly change something, it's gonna make things not working. Alright. So next one, let's send this to GitHub. Git add dot git commit dash m change into ES6 git push.
Does this still have several different commits, like all the commits we have, or?
It will have all the commits you have there. So if you're checking checking your project here, it has 10 commits, and it has the last one is changed into ES6. Other ones are still here. You'll be able to check all the old code from those buttons here. Like this one is going to still showing the old code you have there with functions, with the variables, and also you have the newest one which changes into ES6. Right, all the history are going to be kept in there. So the employers or the other people can see like how you grow up, like how do you develop yourself, like learn the new things and improve yourself. Right, and the last one is a bookmarker. Copy that. do a git clone on the desktop and working on that. Bookmarker, and we're gonna open with code. And a new terminal. Not a new terminal, sorry. I mean, open the index.html, make sure it works. Open with live server. It is working, I think. Let's try to end in msymbol. msymbol.com. Yeah, it actually works. Right? I can also visit. Yeah, everything is working. Alright, so this is our bookmarkers without an arrow. And we're going to rewrite it into ES6. So again, we're going to only touch the main.js file, right, to rewrite it. Let's see. So we're not going to touch those first two things right now. And for the function, we're going to change this one into the arrow function. So it's going to be constant save bookmarks is equals to a function takes e and doing the following stuff. And it's going to give me an error because it says save bookmark is not defined. That's because of we're calling the save bookmark here before we create the bookmark. Because right now we're not using, don't have a hoisting right now. So we're going to move this function below the, move this element listener below the function. We're going to move it to the end. Just move it to the end. Right, we move that to the end. Right, so right now it doesn't have any error and everything still work. Right, everything still work. Let's keep going. So we're gonna get rid of this parentheses here because there's only one parameter. We do not need the parentheses. And for the variable, we're gonna change that to constant. And same thing for this variable, change that to constant. Let's keep going. This seems like these two lines of code are duplicates. Saying if the local storage get the bookmarks is null, we're gonna set it to the empty array and push it to the bookmark and then do a set items. The same thing here, we do the push for bookmark and set it into the bookmarks. We basically can move these two lines outside of the if else. So it's going to be executed anyway. So in the if else, we can only change to do one different things. Like if the bookmarks is not existing in local storage, we're just going to set it into empty array. If there's already bookmarks, it's getting the bookmarks out from it, and the rest of the things is just the same. Always going to execute these two lines. I see it's shorter to write in this way. All right. So again, the var here going to be constant. Going to be constant. I think it's gonna work. Let's try it. Actually, maybe better. I can say let bookmarks equals to that. Right? Just then here, just change the bookmarks equal to that or bookmarks equal to this. It depends on which condition it is. Right? Or even shorter, we can do something else. Let's first try if that works. Let's try to end in one page. It actually works. All right, nice, it works. So we can even do shorter. We can write it even shorter. We can say let the bookmarks just equals to empty array. Then we check if local storage get item bookmarks is not equal to null. Then we change that into this. Otherwise, we do not need to touch it. So if that is equal to null, it's going to still be the empty array. Otherwise, it's going to be changing into getting the current bookmarks from local storage. Think about the logic here, all right? It's a shorter way to write it. Just basically the logic is the same. So let's try to ending something. It works. Right, it works. No, without any error. So just make the code shorter. Let's keep going. We don't need to change those things. The function, we'll find another function. Gonna change that one into the arrow function. So constant finish bookmark is equal to a function takes empty takes nothing and gives this output. Right? Again, variable constant, and then we find a for loop. It's gonna loop over the bookmarks. Now we're gonna change this one into the for off loop. So again, we're gonna start with a for in loop. Gonna be let I in the what? Sorry, forget it. In bookmarks. Let I in bookmarks. This is for in loop. And we're going to change this into for off loop. So let's bookmark off the bookmarks. And this bookmarks I means going to be a bookmark. Bookmarks I here going to be bookmark. And the other word going to be a constant, I believe. Let's see if that works. Maybe not, because that's in for loop. We'll redefine it later. We're gonna try if that works. Here it's a constant. Actually, let's just change one at a time. It's too many. I'm not sure it's gonna work. Let's just change the first one. See if that works. Finish bookmarks is not defined because we are calling this one before we define it. So we're gonna add in this even listener to the end of the page. Change this one to the end. Right, let's add even listener, move that to the end of the file. Now it's happy. So let's see. M symbol, 1, submit. It works. Delete. It works. All right, it's good. So we can use in constant for those things. I'm gonna keep going. Change this word into constant. This word into constant. And this word into constant. And same thing here, constant. Here is a function, right? We're going to change this function into an arrow function. So we're going to say, instead of function, we're going to say E and arrow. And I'm going to remove this parentheses because there's only one parameter. Right? Seems like it still works. Let's try to adding something. Yeah, still work. Nice. Alright, so let's see if anything else we can change. Here's another function. We're going to change this one. So constant delete bookmarks is equals to a function, takes nothing, takes a name, and doing the following stuff. Doing the following stuff. So I think it's still going to work. Yeah, I can still do this stuff. And we're going to change this for loop into for off loop. Again, it's going to be let bookmark off bookmarks. As bookmarks I, just going to be the bookmark. Bookmarks displays I1. I do not have I anymore, so I cannot use in for off loop this time, because we need I here to splice it. But we can use it for in loop, right? So we're gonna Control Z to redo it. We're gonna say let I in bookmark. So we still have I here. We can use the I inside here. Right, this is gonna work. Let's try it. Adding 1, and try to delete it. It works. All right, it still works. So instead of for off loop, we're gonna use for in loop because we need I here. We need the index of this item to be able to splice it, to remove it. Alright, so let's see what else we can change. I don't think anything else we need to change. That's it. Alright, so we just change this one into the ES6 version. Alright, well, just try basically to practice a little bit. The old way still works perfectly, but this way just another way you can write a code. Alright, that's good enough. Right, I'll share the code in the Slack. I mean, not Slack, in my GitHub, and also the video gonna be in YouTube. Let's go to commit this thing, git add dot git commit -m, change into ES6, git push. Right, the code you can find it in my GitHub, and also the video you'll be able to find it on the YouTube and Slack. Right, I'm stop recording this right now and